The following is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
This is All Things Elite. Welcome back to All Things Elite. Load up the pod, man, it's on when we speak. Rich right here, let me warm it up for Austin and Floyd. Couldn't be no one but the boys. When it come to All Things Elite from the fan perspective, swear, man, it ain't no question. Hear from them first. Swear, man, they putting in the work. No, they had to get me for the verse. Social Suplex Network's on. I was at a time in your headphones. Austin and Floyd on the microphone. Backing out on the ring, getting in the zone. Pulling up the show, give it 7 stars, you already know. Who else could it be but the show with the proclivity for positivity? I'm gone.
Welcome, everyone, to the 284th episode of Social Suplex's podcast about AEW with a proclivity for positivity. Welcome to All Things Elite. I am your host, Floyd Johnson, and with me today, because he was with me live at Dynamite 300 and Collision, is my boy, JR Perez. How you doing today, JR?
I am doing wonderful. I'm feeling blessed on this Sunday, July 6th. We are less than a few days from one of the biggest weeks in pro wrestling here in America. I'm excited for it. I can't wait to dive into it.
All right. And reason it's not Austin this week is we were going to record last night. I started feeling weird close to the time of recording. I didn't think I'd be able to give my best effort on the show. And I had a lot I wanted to talk about, a lot I wanted to brag about. So I was like, Austin, I'm going to call JR. He was there with me live at the show. We're going to do it. And then we'll get together for the All In preview. It will all In preview will probably come before Dynamite and Collision this week, because I will be at Dynamite and Collision, and trying to squeeze in a recording somewhere in there of the preview of the show just seems like unnecessary pressure on myself. So we're probably going to record it Tuesday, and that'll be before probably the final match card is announced. But we're going to do our best to give you what we can. X going to give it to you. You know what I mean? ATE going to give it to you. But Social Suplex will be, most of the Social Suplex will be live in Arlington, Texas, for, as they are affectionately calling it, Y'all In. Do you know what's so funny when it comes to the word Y'all In? I can't even say you all. It sounds wrong. Y'all sounds right. So it's like when people like y'all and they say it like with that emphasis, I'm like, oh, you ain't saying it right. But before we get started, make sure you're downloading this show on YouTube Music or Apple Podcasts. Please leave us a rating and review. If you're so inclined, you can follow us at AT Elite Pod, at Social Suplex, at Austin Sumowitz, that's SZUMOWICZ, and at Floyd Johnson Jr. on Twitter. JR, do you want them to follow you?
Yeah, you find me on Twitter at TJ Professor. All things nostalgic. That's TJ Professor. Absolutely.
As I sit here in the AEW Man Cave, I am very excited about this week in the show. But before I get to the big news of the week, make sure, as a reminder, you're checking out Chop Tees from Shirts from Social Suplex. And you're looking for the first Social Suplex newsletter. All our shows are amazing, so make sure you're checking out, and you got on the Social Suplex feed, and you got that automatic download. All downloads help. So make sure you got that automatic download where you're downloading every episode of the show, and yeah, it'll be good. News of the week: AEW All In goes over 20,000 tickets sold. I think it was at 20,457, which is like 300 more than they sold for Grand Slam in New York at Arthur Ashe. So we are currently set to be the largest show in United States, North American history of AEW. So, JR, I will ask you, how does it feel to say you were in the biggest show in North American history?
You know, as you and I are both wrestling fans, and I'm also a boxing fan and an MMA fan. And one of the things that I love doing is being at the biggest or the first events. I've been to the first UFC event in Madison Square Garden history. I've been to some of the highest grossing UFC events in that they've ever done. You know, you and I have been to multiple WrestleManias, and we've been at, you know, a number of historic moments in AEW, and it's great. And knowing that, you know, what has gone on from the time that they announced, you know, All In Texas and Globe Life Field, and seeing that number just slowly raise as, you know, through the months that when tickets were outside, I believe it was back in November. And then after they announced some of the matches in the last, you know, number of weeks, and it just seen it grow and grow, and knowing that as of this moment, we will be attending the biggest event in AEW history that is in North America, that's pretty awesome. And, you know, saying that we were there and, you know, knowing that is a big milestone for AEW is great.
Yeah, so I want to say, like my resume, my AEW resume is tight. It is good. I am a person that I own the fact that I like to say I was there. And everybody's like, well, you're only going because you can say you were there. Absolutely. I own that. So one of my holes in my resume was Arthur Ashe, that Grand Slam show. Oh, God, I wanted to go so bad. But, dude, I was going to AEW everything, and it was just like, at some point that was going to break. So I couldn't go to New York, right? Long Island, I think wherever they play the U.S. Open in New York. So I couldn't go. So when people were like, oh, it's a Grand Slam, it just stabbed me. It stabbed me a little bit in the heart. So now that I'm about to go to a stadium show bigger than Grand Slam, erase it from the history books. It does make me feel a little warmth in the cockles of my soul. But we had a great week this week. So what was it, a month ago? Or it wasn't even. Yeah, it was like 45 days ago when they announced AEW was 300. Dynamite 300, Collision 100 was going to be in Ontario, California. My boy here, JR, talked me into it. I was like, because I originally was going to go to my birthday show, June 11th in Portland. But I was like, he was like, dude, you'd rather be at the Dynamite 300. So I moved everything around. He caught a bus. And he will regale you of the stories of his traumatic bus trip shortly. But he caught a bus from Bakersfield, California to Ontario. We met there and we got to watch some wrestling. So, JR, you were a little late to the show. I know you're long-winded, but do your best. Tell us about your ordeal getting to the event.
So basically, I scheduled a bus for Amtrak, and Amtrak has connecting buses that services different parts of America if a train's not available. So I got a connecting bus that was going from my hometown to Ontario. We're going to leave at 12:05. We're going to get there at, like, I think it was scheduled to arrive around 3:15. I was like, this is perfect. I'll link up with Floyd, maybe be able to get something to eat, and then we'll be able to go straight to the arena, maybe look at exclusive merch. I get there and I'm waiting, and it's like 12:05, 12:10. I'm like, why are we, like, what's going on? We're not boarding the bus. They said, oh, we're going to be late till, we won't leave until 12:20. So, okay, 12:20, 12:25. And finally the bus driver says, the train that's connecting to this bus is stuck because a freight train that was unloading wasn't moving, and the Amtrak train could not get to the station. And they had to wait for that train to come in before the bus could take off. And we were delayed about an hour. And when we got into the Pasadena area to get that, as we're heading towards Ontario, you know, it was 4th of July weekend coming up. You know, a lot of LA traffic at, you know, around 2:30, 3 o'clock. And I'm like looking at my phone, checking the time. And I'm just like, man, it's going to take forever to get there. Like, I don't know if I'm going to get there until, you know, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. It just felt like we were not going to move. Through somehow, some miracle, we were moving very, you know, slowly but surely. We kept moving forward. Finally got to Ontario at 4:20, jumped in the Uber, got to the hotel room, threw my bag in the room, got back in the Uber, went straight to the arena. I think I got there like exactly at 5 o'clock. ran through security, up the staircase, grabbed an adult beverage, and went straight to my seat. And I caught it right at the end of Hangman's promo that kicked off Dynamite right before the Death Rider showed up.
5:06 local time. 5:06 Pacific is when JR walked up. That was pretty fucking awesome. Congratulations. My day was a lot more boring at the beginning. I got up. My wife took me to the airport. Flight was on time. Landed in Ontario. Thing was, when I got there, my whole goal was to go to Sizzler. We don't have Sizzler in Oklahoma. I was going to go to Sizzler. Soon as I got in the room, as soon as I got to the hotel and got in the room, I was like, my body was like, you're sleepy. So I Uber Eated an order. Then I went to sleep. I think Uber Eat It is correct. I don't know. I made an order through Uber Eats. It got there. It was some local Chinese food place. I did not try it, but at least it was local to California. At least I didn't get like McDonald's. Ate the Chinese food. Got me a nappy nap. So I get to the arena and I was like, so there's no gas station or anything around our hotel, right? So I get to the arena. I was like, God dang it, I need an energy drink. Shout out to California. Their arenas have energy drinks. In Oklahoma, in Texas, right now, I mean, again, it's card subject to change. But in the past, they haven't had energy drinks at the arena. You just have to like soda. So they had a Monster. I knocked it. I mean, it was literally, JR was there. It was the only thing I drank through the show. But because of it, I was able to stay like fired up for the show. I got in the arena. They had some arena merchandise. They had the most important thing that I can think of. And anybody from AEW listens to this show, I was there shirts. Thank you for bringing them back. I will tell you, that is a guaranteed purchase for me. And shocker, JR, you will be shocked to find out that I was there shirt sold out before Collision even started. Now,
yeah, I was gonna say quickly. I mean, and the thing is, again, anybody AEW listening, shop AEW listening. So if the specific graphic in the back does not say I was there, I'm not buying it because I know it's going to be on Shop AEW and you're going to do a sell and I'm going to get it for way cheaper. So you're actually losing money by not having the I was there on there and charging more.
And let's be real. You get from the event and you get home. Are you ordering a shirt for that event, JR? Likely.
Probably not.
Probably not. So you went from making money to not getting anything from me. I am a person that I own it. I like to say I was there. I love a shirt saying I was there. When I wear my All In shirt to the movies, I throw it on there. And, it's a conversation starter. The guy at the movie's like, oh, you're a wrestling fan. I was like, yeah. He's like, oh, AEW London. And then I turn around and he's like, oh, you were there. And I'm like, yeah, I was there. And I have that moment. And I literally have made friends from having I was there shirt. Now, I always give tiny critique. You got AEW Dynamite 300, Collision 100, but you only had the Dynamite I was there shirt. Shouldn't you have the Collision I was there shirt, JR?
That would have been a double t-shirt sale.
Dude, you would have got 2 t-shirts from me. But it ain't like you don't make money from me because I bought the I was there shirt. They had a Founding Fathers, Nick and Matt Jackson poster. I bought 2 of those. So I bought one because I knew my friend Christine would want one. And I bought the other one because I thought my friend Laura would want one. And then they had these scrolls. Now, I hadn't been online all day because I had flu, so I didn't know these were limited edition scrolls, right? So I saw some people buying it, so I was like, I think Christina will want this, so I just bought the scroll, So I get back to my seat, let them know what I bought. And then the Laura chick's like, I really didn't, she didn't want the poster, but she did want 2 of the scrolls. So JR got back. I went, Mercedes came out. And then, everybody's in the arena. So there was no line. So I ran out and got 2 more of the scrolls. I guess there were one of 300 or 3,000. I don't know. But I got 3 of them. So that's pretty cool. And so it's not like they didn't make any money from me. You know what I mean? But you could have made more, right? And you're doing Collision. The FTR long sleeve shirt is a Collision exclusive. I'm at Collision and it's not available. Does that make sense, JR?
No, because that was one thing I was looking for.
That's what I was looking for, is that long sleeve FTR shirt. Couldn't buy it. All right, so cool. Whatever. Now we're going to get into a Dynamite 300. We're literally, this is how we're going to do it. We're going to do Dynamite 300. We're going to do Collision 100, like back to back, because that's how we experienced it. So we're going to do those back to back. Going to tell a little FTR story. Like our stories of getting home. We're then going to do the Dynamite Garland preview. Dynamite Collision Garland previews, just what's been announced so far. We're going to give any updates to Starrcast, and then we're going to talk about the AEW All In tailgate after party information. So that's a little rundown of how we're going to do everything. So it's like, oh, they didn't really take a long break between Dynamite and Collision. That is intentional, so as to not take too much of your day. We're going to still, we shoot for these shows to be around an hour and a half. You know, bigger shows might go 2 hours, but we try to respect your time, and we thank you all for listening. But yeah, this is a little different way of doing it than Austin does. So here we go. All right. So Dynamite 300, Hangman issues Texas Deathmatch Challenge. And he's like, I've said plenty about how this company and this championship mean to me. I would ride through death itself for this, which is kind of cool because they're called the Death Riders. I thought that was pretty good turn of phrase. He affirmed his commitment to winning the title at All In. You can wrap a chain around my neck and hang me from the sky, but you'd have to kill me before I let this chance pass me by. Confident and defiant, Hangman directly challenges Mox to escalate their battle to the Texas Death Match. Mox and Marina come out, responding to Paige. You want to put all your chips on the table? Your life, your health, your career in a Texas death match? Moxley scoffed, declaring Hangman wasn't prepared. He, in his Mox way, he basically said, you challenged me this, but I'm saying no to protect you. I just think Mox gives the best fucking tough guy promos ever. So I have been very high on the Death Riders lately, so forgive me if you hate it. The tension exploded into violence when Hangman slapped Mox, prompting an immediate physical response from the AEW World Champion. Paige momentarily gained control, producing a fork as the crowd erupted, only for William Yuta and Claudio to storm the ring. Marina slapped Hangman multiple times. Let's see. The ops come out. Shafir tried to get Hangman with the briefcase, only to have Paige intercepted and seize it from her, holding the case aloft. Hangman confidently reiterated his challenge. If you're the champion, you say so. Give me a Texas death match. Of course, Moxley agreed, and after agreeing, Hangman added a chilling demonstration of his resolve, hitting Marina Shafir with a devastating buckshot lariat, leaving a lasting message for John Moxley ahead of their brutal showdown. So we're going to pause here, and I'm going to let JR talk first. What did you think of this segment? Especially, let's put a special focus on, what did you think about the Hangman clothesline? Buckshot lariat, excuse me.
It was I'll start with that. It was a big massive pop. It was a moment. It was kind of showing the lengths that we know Hangman will go to get the AEW World Championship back that he has not had since the May of 2022. So it was cool, especially because, Marina, they essentially position her, in my opinion, as a modern day Joanie Lauer, who most people will know as Chyna. Just in a different way, where Chyna was a bodybuilder type badass. Marina is the shoe fight badass. So it's just, when it happened, it's just like, those are moments that people wait for. Like, I think of another situation where in TNA, Bully Ray was, trying to get to Dixie Carter. When he finally got Dixie Carter, put it through the table, how just the crowd erupted. And I felt the similar, in this situation. Now, as far as like the segment and Hangman, like I did appreciate it. The one thing that I kind of have a bit of an issue with is the line of, the Texas Death Match, watching the Texas Death Match. I just felt, I get it. I understand the premise of it, but as on my TV screen right now, from March of 2023 is Moxley and Hangman's Texas Death Match from Revolution of 2023. And I feel in this situation and kind of where the storyline without how the Death Riders are constantly getting in the way of anybody challenging for the belt, I think, in my opinion, they should have done some sort of structure match, like a cage match or something that would, potentially keep away the Death Riders out of the action. Obviously though, the stories in wrestling, they don't have like a definitive ending. So there may be a reason why this was done this way, and then maybe that'll play out All In. But that's where I would have went, was either that or honestly a different storyline. And this is a selfish thing for me. I don't mean storyline. I mean stipulation. I've been wanting to see a Texas Bull match, a match that's been made famous by a legendary wrestler, Dusty Rhodes. I felt like in Texas, doing a Texas Bull match between Hangman and Moxley would be a lot of fun. But I think this match will be fun. But again, we've seen it before, and I didn't know if we necessarily needed to see it again.
All right, about this segment. And some of you might be shocked if you listen to the show regularly because of how intense my thought that Hangman should not beat Mox. When he clotheslined Marina, and the crowd went wild, I was like, that felt very much like his Stone Cold moment. That very much felt like the Attitude Era. That he felt like that anti-hero. And at this moment, and I don't want you to go too far with this, in this moment, after the clothesline, I was kind of okay with Hangman winning. And if you know JR as much as we talk, that's me coming a long way, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. If you make up your mind, you stick with it.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, and it just felt different. That clothesline, like, it felt different. It was this moment that Hangman was the type of person that it was going to take, the type of crazy motherfucker it was going to take to be. Now, do I want it to be Hangman? The answer is absolutely not. But I got to a point of okay, and I have been going through the stages of grief. I think I'm at acceptance. But understand, from my seat and All In, because y'all already know where I'm going to sit. I've said it many times. If Hangman loses and they do a video and you see a big-ass smile on my face, please do not hold that against me. Because I've been telling you that's what I wanted the whole time. Okay? So that's why you shouldn't hold it against me. I've been very open about this. But I can say this again. There was an affirmative thing about this Hangman. So I see it with the Mox title reign, and I'll probably go into more on the results, though. You see it with the Mox title reign. Mox is the champion in a Texas death match. Hangman has already been champion and has already beat Mox in the Texas death match. In essence, if he wins this match, he is literally accomplishing nothing he's never accomplished before. You're not making a star. I feel like by Hangman winning, you may be wasting all this time with Mox as champion. I may be wrong. I leave that open. When Cody lost, I'm going to use a WWE reference. When Cody lost at WrestleMania 39, I swore WWE shot itself in the foot and they ruined Cody. And they are making more money than ever with Cody on top. So, again, I leave open. I am a fan. I am not an expert. I am not Dave Meltzer. I'm not breaking down the numbers. God, I wish I was as smart as that man. Not. I'm just a fan saying, like, looking at the story, it doesn't really make sense for Hangman to win. But again, I am in the extreme minority. I'm not in the minority. I am in the extreme minority. I'd say 98% of the fan base wants Hangman to win. Me and a few of my people that like me are over here like, yeah, it doesn't really make sense. But I think when you see my side and you listen to reason and you get past the fact that you just don't want Mox to be champion, you kind of understand why Hangman winning doesn't make Hangman. And you should use this title reign to make someone. Whoever it is, Just use it to make someone. All right, AEW TBS champion Mercedes Moné versus Mina Shikawa. I left doing the entrance. I was back before the match. In my opinion, the match was just a match. Did you have any thoughts on the match, sir?
No, I didn't have any thoughts on the match. I think this is one of the ones I was drawing Mercedes closer to Tony. I thought the match was great. I really enjoyed the match. But when you have a situation where a match is in a storyline, is the match has nothing to do with it. It's just more of getting the one of the in-ring competitors with somebody who they'll face in the future that's on the outside. That's kind of more of the focus of the television audience. So whatever's happening between Mercedes and Tony, we weren't really seeing because we weren't focused on their communications or anything that they were having.
Yeah. I will say this. I watched this match, but kind of watched this match. I was excited JR was there at that point in time, and I was watching it, and I'll tell you, and I know there are people that I shout out to all the people online that have thoughts about every match they've ever seen and can give you a detailed breakdown of every match and hold and what they like the best. I knew Mercedes was winning. I was watching it. I was like 60% in, 40% out for this match because I was just kind of waiting for Mercedes to win. So Mercedes beats Marina with a roll-up to secure the pinfall and keep her title. Post-match chaos ensues. Monet attacks Shirakawa, prompting Tony Storm to intervene. Mercedes briefly retreated, only to blindside Storm. How many times has Mercedes done this exact thing? This is why I talk about faces being dumb. I think she's done this 3 times in this Tony Storm build, where she acts like she's running away and comes back and attacks her. Like, hey, it's okay.
You know what? Hold on. On that thought, though, one of the things that it's very hard when you're in the audience is because you see all the magic behind the scenes.
Yeah.
In the earlier segment where Marina got involved and, before she got hit the buckshot lariat, you could see Marina, she's kind of in front of Hangman down on the floor. And then you see her walk around the ring to try to get behind him to sneak attack. And it's just I understand, things are done a certain way because the television viewed audience is the bigger audience. But there's gotta be a way to try to hide the mystique more because it's like David Copperfield showing you the magic trick, what it is as he's doing it.
Yes, absolutely. But Mercedes left. Then Mercedes hurled champagne in Luther's face. Poor Luther, leaving an unforgettable mark on the evening. Then JR's favorite tag team, the kids from Rancho Cucamonga, Young Bucks, they returned. And they did a video segment. And they said they had a limo. They did a shopping spree with the company car. The car was filled with shoes. And he said, I didn't buy us anything. Tony Khan did. The power we have, Matt, it's incredible. And then they drive through Rancho Cucamonga, recalling a particular vivid memory, laughing, reminding, you remember that one time you told the proctor to suck it, so you got ridden up for a shoot that happened? So yeah. Like most of us in high school, we told the wrong person to suck it. Later in their journey, there's nothing like hopping in a stretch limousine and driving around your poor community and just flaunting your wealth. The tour continued past their childhood home, prompting Nick to jokingly say, we had ghosts there. And I'm guessing they're talking about the energy drink. Fatal 4-way for the number 2 spot in the men's casino gauntlet. We had MJF versus AR Fox versus Brody King versus Anthony Bowens. Oh my God. Brody King is over. And I think they use him well. And I know it's kind of hard to peel up sympathy on the big man, but he feels like that Eddie Kingston, Mark Briscoe over, where it doesn't matter what he do. People want to go, hur. They want to bark, and they want Brody King to throw people and jump on people. And MJF had his pop. AR Fox, fans loved him. Anthony Bowens, lukewarm. I feel like their reaction's kind of building with Anthony Bowens a little bit. Not a lot. Not a lot. Don't go saying I'm saying the crowd went crazy. It just feels like it's been louder than it has in the past. But then Brody King, I felt like he had the loudest pop and was the most over person coming out. JR, as I ask, what do you think about just that part of it?
No, yeah, I think the one thing with Brody King is he has a lot going for him in, I would say, three specific ways. One, he has an incredible, unique look, and people gravitate towards that. Two, he knows how to utilize his positives in a very good way for him. I think the crowd appreciates that. And that goes even in line with his, like, kind of his bark that he does. And that's one of the things you and I talked about in wrestling. If you want to get over, you got to have some sort of chant. I mean, everyone that we talk about, you know, someone who changed the business or was a big focal point of the business has some sort of, like, you know, chant or catchphrase. I think, and the last one is Brody King, the person, connects with the AEW audience, a large core of that audience, on a personal level because of his values that he stands for.
Yes.
And I think that's what gets why Brody is over in AEW.
I'm about to take a shot. He actually has the values that CM Punk pretends to have. Your lack of reaction, like, what's going on there?
There's nothing to say. I was gonna be like, that was a mic drop moment by Floyd. I mean, I just stood silent because it's like, how do you follow up on that? Like, I literally with my hand out, like, that was a mic drop moment by Floyd. I got nothing to add to that. let that simmer on its own.
So, of course, these four men put on an absolute banger fatal four-way. And AR Fox, Tony Khan signed him to a 5-year extension. I don't know how long his contract is. Whatever it is, sign him in because he's a utility player. Literally just throw him in any match. He's going to make the match cooler. It does not matter what match it is. He's going to make the match cooler. I don't know who it would be, but I really want AR Fox to have a tag team partner and push him in the tag team division. It really doesn't matter who. That dude is just so talented. I just think there's, like, meat on the bone as far as him winning more. So the final sequence, MJF executed a vicious hammerlock DDT, and Brody King responded with a Gonzo bomb on Bowens. AR Fox desperately broke up the pin, but MJF quickly seized the opportunity, locking Fox into a devastating salt of the earth submission, forcing an immediate tap out. So MJF gets the number 2 spot in the gauntlet match, shocking no one. Mark Briscoe and MJF are 1 and 2. I thought this was a really good match, really fun match. I think, you know, if you talk about, hey, what's an AEW branded match, that Fatal 4-Way was one of those. What do you think, sir?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you look at the competitors that were in that match, they all know how to do what they do at a great level. You know, and one of the things, you know, this was Paul Heyman. Now, and I always use this kind of this was something he said in a documentary about ECW, is that you know, hide the negatives, accentuate your positive. And so it's like, don't do things that you're not good at, because and the reason I say that is, even if you try, but if it doesn't work out, it's not going to look good. And I think when you see these individuals in there, they're doing what they do best, and they focus on that, and that's who they are. And when you mentioned about AR Fox, I really implore people, and we talk about this a lot, but there's a lot of people that were in the Lucha Underground days on El Rey Network that have been a part of the AEW, you know, company at either formerly or still currently, and they put on some amazing work. And go look at AR Fox in Lucha Underground. He went by the name of Dante Fox, and he had this feud with a character by the name of Killshot, and he's a familiar face. I won't say who it is. You find out on your own, but they put on some great matches, and had a great blow-off match in Lucha Underground. And I've been a big fan of AR Fox for a while because of that.
Yeah, definitely. I have heard the stories of that. I have not ever went back and watched Lucha Underground. Not really a thing I'm ever going to do, but I've heard their matches were great. Mark Briscoe made a special appearance. He declared directly to MJF, "You have ensured yourself an uninterrupted ass whooping," referencing their intermittent clash in the first two entrants in the Casino Gauntlet. Briscoe challenged Friedman to meet him face-to-face, unaccompanied by the Hurt Syndicate, for a talkie talk next week on Dynamite. Bowleyton, if you ever had a set of nuts next to your tiny little pickle, I'll see you next week. I don't know, like Mark, but when it comes to the promos and stuff, he has a very fun promo style. But you want to go up against the master, to steal a line from Razor Ramon, I feel like MJF's going to carve you up. The segment, so this was like, it went crazy. The segment escalated dramatically when Jet Speed came out. They stormed the stage. Lashley and Benjamin beat the shit out of them. Dominated the badly, powerbombed the night. This is unconscionable violence, Ian Riccaboni declared. Shout out to Ian Riccaboni, signed a new deal with AEW, so shout out to him. I think he's been doing amazing on Dynamite, so I love Ian. Nevertheless, the Defiant Knight challenged Shelton Benjamin to a singles match at Collision, undeterred and resolute despite his compromised condition. So I gotta ask you. You're a historian of wrestling. You've watched a lot of wrestling. Have you ever seen a storyline built around a team just beating the shit out of a team over and over again?
It's like, I really been thinking about this, and typically, like, you could have losses, but it's not like just outright just like domination. Like, I remember there was a feud in the AWA between the Midnight Rockers, Young Marginetti, and Shawn Michaels, and then against Playboy Buddy Rose. I think the other guy's partner was Doug Summers. Sherry Martel was their manager, and they had this match on, I think it was on ESPN, full on Crimson Mask, just blood pouring from Shawn and Marty during this. Like, I've seen stuff like that where, like, they've had competitive matches, but sometimes they get their ass handed to them, but they're still, like, coming back and at some points getting at least an upper hand a few times. But I've never seen just outright domination. So that's the thing that's kind of thrown off, especially with the makeshift tag team.
Yeah, I've seen it, and I was just like, why do I care if Speedball and Kevin Knight win? First of all, I think they had like 1 or 2 wins as a tag team, right? Like, why do I care? And like, I'm even saying, take out how I feel about Speedball, right? Take out the playful heat I have for Kevin Knight. It's not real heat. I love Kevin Knight. He's a fucking athlete. Take out all that. Just like 4 guys. And it's like, oh, we're building up to this big match. And the 2 guys just keep beating the shit out of them. And it's not the challenger. Because I've seen this happen where the challenger's beating the shit out the champion, to, make them fight them or whatever. It's the champions beating up the challengers. It's like, and everybody likes, of course, Hurt Syndicate has, we hurt people. And then they're just hurting people. You're not making them the bad guy. They're doing what the fans want them to do. They're hurting people. So, I don't know. Again, a little weird. Kevin Knight versus Shelton Benjamin announced for a Collision. Wonder if we'll actually get that match. All right. Heroes versus Trios match. Heroes versus Villains trio match. Young Bucks and my favorite wrestler, Konosuke Takeshita. I have just decided I'm just going all in, as he is my favorite AEW/New Japan wrestler /DDT wrestler. I have a favorite DDT wrestler for the first time ever. Versus ROH World Champion Bandito and the Paragons Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly. This makes sense because, I don't know, AEW matches, these trios matches work. And I said these 6 names, and you're like, man, these are 6 amazing wrestlers. They're going to put on a banger of a match. They did. Like, it's that simple. I could try to go spot for spot or whatever, but it's one of those things. You go on at Max, experience it, because this match was fucking banger. I don't like, again, I know how JR feels. I know how Austin feels. I am a Young Bucks fan. Number 2 on my tag teams list, a generational tag teams list. And yeah, they did what the Young Bucks do. Again, we talk about the definitive AEW matches. You had the Fatal 4-Way. Now you had this 6-man, this trios match. It was amazing. Young Bucks plus anyone, trios champion. But yes, after this match, I wanted to be Young Bucks and Takeshita. The match, Bucks hit an extraordinary wheelbarrow indie taker, punctuated by a signature super kick party. Takeshita sealed the victory emphatically with the raging fire, pinning Kyle O'Reilly. This match was like, so most people on the internet use the term spot fest and they use it negatively, right? When you're in AEW, this is exactly what that match was, but they do it in the most amazing way possible while still telling a story. I thought this was awesome. What did you think of this match, sir?
For me, I thought I liked the concept they had because it was they were talking about Superman, heroes versus villains, and like any good superhero, whether novel, whatever you read, there's always like team ups, and I really got a big kick out of it between the Paragon and Bandito versus Takeshita and the Bucks. I kind of even saw like in my mind, I was like, oh, Takeshita is like that evil kind of like Two-Face type, to me, just kind of dastardly, a little slick, and then like the Young Bucks to me are like the Joker, and I was like, oh, Bandito is like the the Dark Knight, like Batman, and the Paragon are to me, I was kind of thinking of like Flash or Green Arrow or something like that. But I remember seeing a few of these like double teams that they were doing. And I just remember like it was like this chain, like they would do from one move to the next, and how fluid their movements were. I remember thinking that during this match, and I enjoyed it. It's one of those things where when you think, I don't know if we've got to this, but when you have these type of shows that you're advertising, like this is a 300th episode of Dynamite, this is what you expect, and sometimes we don't necessarily get it from any company when they're talking about anniversaries or special episodes, but this is what you expect from a Dynamite 300.
Dude, every 100 show, it seems like they're understanding more and more what people want. And I thought this was perfect to be 300. The only thing, this is kind of a hindsight being 2020, I have no idea how long that they knew they were going to do a Superman theme. I feel like if you're going to do heroes versus villains, it's going to be based on Superman. Why couldn't we get some cosplay, JR? Like, I feel like if the Young Bucks was still with Kenny and they were faces, they would have came out as like Superman, Green Lantern, and someone. They would have come out with something, some type of superhero. They would have DC'd the shit out of it. But yes, that's just a small like, oh, that would have been cool kind of thing. I don't think it actually added anything. Post-match tensions boil over as Will Ospreay and Swerve ambush the Bucks, demanding a definitive answer. Strickland clarified that they have no interest in becoming EVPs. They basically just want the power to go away. And it was a funny line where Strickland looked at Ospreay and said, "I don't trust you with that kind of power." I thought that was pretty funny. They asked, why would we put it up anything? We're not getting anything out of it. So they said, hell no. Ospreay, with little to no talk to Swerve, says, if you beat us, we won't go after the titles for 1 year. Swerve was not happy about this. And he's like, we could do it. We could do it with Swerve and Will Ospreay. We could do it. And then the Young Bucks accepted. And then it looked like it was tense. And, they say you got a deal. And it looks like it was tense between Swerve and Will Ospreay. I can say this. I saw this online. So, basically, Wembley is going to move back. It's going to move. It's going to move back to All In's going to move back to Wembley. It's going to be doing probably doing the what's it called? Bank holiday. It's the thing that separates summer and fall there. If you look at the timing of when this show is the next year, if Will Ospreay happens to not be able to go after the title, that would line up with him going after the title at All In next year. Again, this was not my idea. I saw it online. I just thought that was pretty cool. So it's like, okay, there's actual stakes in this match. Like, Swerve, he can't go after... All that matters in the world to Swerve is the world title. If he can't go after a year, he might beat the shit out of Will. So it actually, to me, it really did elevate the stakes of that match. What do you think, sir?
Like, I kind of got it. It's one of those ones, though, I'm not necessarily that needed to happen, but again, when you think of all the shenanigans that have gone on with the Young Bucks and like the Death Riders and this whole, the way that these storylines have played out, I probably, again, would have done like a gimmick match, but I probably would have done a situation where like, going out of stipulation, like the Bucks say something like, you want us, like we want something from you, and if we beat you, you can't challenge for any championship for 1 year. And then they say, and like Ospreay and Swerve say, okay, but if that's the case, then we want and take a stipulation. And I just think that would have, maybe been a better way. And again, it goes back
to...
the
whole idea is that the Bucks have the high ground, so they wouldn't then agree to a stipulation.
That's why you have Tony Khan to make matches.
So, no, I get what you're saying, though. All right, let me see. I kind of lost my place. All right, then we had Jalistico and Beast Mortos versus Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay, and they had another amazing AEW match. And, like, again, I leave Austin these spots and stuff to Austin, but as we get towards the end, Jalisco suffering a punishing style clash followed immediately by Strickland's precise house call kick. I thought that was a fucking awesome combination. The styles clash, and he kept his head up, and then he did the house call. I thought that was pretty cool. And that's when Swerve got the pin. Following the victory, Ospreay extended his hand towards Swerve as a gesture of unity. After a brief, tense hesitation, Strickland accepted, indicating burgeoning trust issues between the uneasy allies. Can they coexist? I love it. And it's like they're friends, and they're still somehow, can they coexist? All right. Last but not least, the thing that got me most excited, the thing that made AEW Dynamite 300 really AEW Dynamite 300, a rematch from their match in the Tokyo Dome at Wrestle Kingdom. We have Kazuchika Okada, the Continental Champion, and probably his last Continental Championship match before the Unification Time match, versus Kenny Omega's best friend, Kota Ibushi. Now, I will say this, my comment on the match. Again, I'm not breaking down the match. I thought it was a really good match. I thought this was a good match. What I'm commenting on Kota Ibushi, if this is the level of Kota Ibushi that we're going to get, I am completely okay and fine with this level of Kota Ibushi. Because I'm not going to say he looked like Kota Ibushi of old. There were some strikes in the far right corner that I didn't think it didn't look like Kota. It did, like, whether, whatever you think of him, his strikes always look like he's killing a guy. And it was in the corner. It didn't even look like he was hitting him. You remember what I was talking about? I think I brought that up when it was happening, right, JR?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was just like, okay, that looked terrible. Other than that, nothing really noticeable. Like, maybe he's a step slower, just, from vision or whatever. But you got to think about it. This is his second match back after like a year and a half off or whatever the hell he took off. So you always have to give somebody about 6 months to work the ring rust off. You really do. I truly believe that. I mean, I think that's for everybody. You will, if someone's calling back from a long injury, you will never hear me saying bad crap about them until they have had the time to get used to whatever they're getting used to. Well, this match was crazy, but it really did end, Kota Ibushi got a tiger driver from the top ropes that Okada kicked out of. And then it was Okada. There was a combination where Kota Ibushi missed, and then Okada hit a lariat, and then he picked him up and hit a Rainmaker. 1, 2, 3, just straight in the middle of the ring, no real cheating. Following the match, Don Callis' family, Lance Archer, Rocky Romero, Don Callis himself stormed the ring to further assault Ibushi. In a shocking turn, Kenny Omega made an explosive return, brandishing a steel chair to clear the ring and make the save. Trent Beretta attempted a sneak attack but was thwarted by Ibushi and Omega, culminating in a stunning German suplex and powerbomb combination. Ibushi and Omega shared an emotional embrace to the ring, signaling a reunion of the Golden Lovers, and a strong message to Okada and Don Callis' family ahead of AEW All In Texas. So that was the end of the show. Did you have any thoughts on the match and what happened after, JR?
My thoughts, I'll say this about the match. As you know, Floyd, I went to Ontario to see AEW Dynamite and hang out with you. But when this match was announced, it was a very surreal moment thinking that these are two of the legendary wrestlers in our generation from Japan. Two of the biggest names that they've had, and think of the insane number of brilliant matches they've had over the course of their career, and seeing them on U.S. soil in my home state, hanging out with my best friend. It was really cool. And, one of the things is, we're talking about Ibushi, he's not young. And Okada's the same way. They're in their 40s. I know Ibushi had been wrestling for close to 20 years and had dealt with injuries recently. So I think the same way with the Bucks and Omega, we got to give, some of our guys some grace, saying, hey, they're still able to perform. They may not be performing at their high level that they once were, but they're still going out there and putting on amazing matches, especially in big moments. So I enjoyed it, and I can't wait to see what what follows up with this week going in Arlington All In week.
Yes, I thought this was great, and if this looked like Okada as Okada. Like, he's playing the Rainmaker character from New Japan now. There's no more, nut shots and all that kind of stuff. It's just straight, I'm just the best wrestler in the world. I think this is what he needed to transform into before the Kenny Omega match. So I was very happy with that episode of Dynamite 100. We are going to go through Collision a tad bit quicker. Apparently, between the show, there was a little interview with Nick Wayne kind of butted himself in and got himself added to Shelton Benjamin and Kevin Knight. So Shelton Benjamin and Kevin Knight and Nick Wayne became a trios match. Nick Wayne was on. Yeah, Christian Cage crashed a backstage interview with MVP, calling him out over his past and repeatedly taunting him. Okay, it says this match is happening, but they don't give actual. They talk about what happened last week and not actual description of the match. I'll tell you, Kevin Knight hit a frog splash and then pinned Shelton Benjamin in the triple threat match in what was a good, I would say fine to good triple threat match. It was a fun little match. We were confused because we were in the building. They announced it as a Kevin Knight versus Shelton Benjamin. They didn't pay any video packages. They didn't play nothing. And then all of a sudden we had a triple threat match. How confused were you, JR?
I think I must have asked you 6 times. And even as much as you told me, I'm not sure what's going on or why they did this, I kept asking because that's how confused I was.
Yeah. Yeah, so, hold on just a second. Oh, that is why there was a problem here. You know what I was doing? And this is on me. I was reading a Collision preview, not the review. So it was not going to say what I needed it to say. So that was on me. Yep. Brain fart? Sure. Adam Cole opened up the show, cut a promo, say he's going to be the face of TNT forever, which almost guarantees you he's going to lose it soon, right?
Yes.
So Kyle Fletcher comes out and says, basically, I had you beat. Kyle Fletcher's like, I should be TNT champion, all heel stuff. And Adam Cole's like, I had you beat so bad, the Don Callis family interrupted the match. He's like, I didn't ask them to come out there, but I deserve this title shot. Daniel Garcia, the cuck in chief of wrestling right now. Because he went from losing to Adam Cole to basically Adam Cole's sidekick. And this show did nothing to take away from him basically being Adam Cole's sidekick. He comes out and says, you won the title shot, can you beat me? Everybody beats me. Whoa. I don't know where you're going with this. He's like, it's not even anything, but I keep getting back up. And I was like, I know you kind of called yourself a loser, and I know you finished but you get back up. I don't know if that caught the vibe that you wanted to catch. It did not catch the vibe of the audience, correct, JR? There was no loud cheer.
No, I literally, and I hate to say this, but I like Daniel Garcia. That was the moment where I'm like, I don't want to see him back in these situations. I don't understand, as somebody who is trying to compete, and you, as I just mentioned, hide the negative, situate the positive. Like, why are you basically saying that you can't win? Because that's what you said. I can't win.
Yeah.
So why are you on TV then?
Very, very confusing promo. Consciously, he's having some loss of self-esteem, loss of faith right now in himself. Says he's like, why don't you just beat me for the match? Kyle Fletcher versus Daniel Garcia announced basically for the main event of Collision. Adam Cole basically said he's going to be out there watching. Yeah, so yeah, I cut off a lot of that because that was a really long segment. So, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes, I don't know. It felt like forever. Tony Storm cuts a promo. The video package issues a warning to Mercedes Moné, and I'm going to actually read this. This is a message for that little girl watching from home, the one who begged her parents to buy All In so she can sit in front of the television and watch the greatest women's match of all time. It won't be. It'll be a lesson. And the lesson is this: someone can only hurt you as much as you let them. And when they can't hurt you anymore, if they hurt the people you love, the damage done is inside the ring. You have absolutely every right to rip their bloody tits off. Her language intensified as she continued to address the hypothetical young girl. Some things in life are not worth fighting for, but if you're lucky, one thing your whole life will be worth every last drop of blood. Fortunately for me, that thing happens to be... Hey, that's your dog. Is that your dog?
Yes, that is my boy Dusty wanting attention and telling you, like, you better hurry up, old man.
The big spine shiny belt, I'm not even taking that out, that I wear around my waist. What you're about to witness will change you in profound ways. Probably your mother, too. It won't be nice. It won't be pretty, but you'll remember it forever. She said there are two types of people in this world, and I actually thought this promo was good. That's why I'm reading it all. Hopefully and discourage you from becoming a wrestler yourself, because there are only two kinds of people in the world: the ruthless, greedy, power-hungry megalomaniacs who stop at nothing to have it all, and the people who end them. Good night, darling. See you next week. I thought this was like the promo that got me most excited about their match. I thought it was really good. I honestly didn't recognize how good it was until I watched it back last night. In there, they were kind of playing it on a video. I heard it, but I wasn't paying all the way attention. I was ready to get to some wrestling. But did you have any thoughts, JR?
No, I didn't have any thoughts.
Oh, okay. All right. So the triple threat match. Let's get to the end. All three. This was Nick Wayne, Shelton Benjamin, and Kevin Knight. With all three competitors visually exhausted, the match reached its frenetic climax. Benjamin lifted Knight onto the top ropes, locking in an angle lock, only for Wayne to re-enter the action, dramatically intervening with a super kick to Benjamin. As the competitors recovered, Wade attempted his patented Wayne's World on Benjamin, aiming to score a win. However, Knight stunned Wayne with the UFO frog splash to break up the pin and pick up the victory for himself. Later in the broadcast, to my dismay, it was announced that the Hurt Syndicate would defend their titles against Jet Speed, who has a total of 2 matches as a tag team, Nick Wayne and Christian, who have a total of 1 match as a tag team. biggest show in the United States of the year, your biggest show on the calendar, and your two competitors for the tag team match has a combined 3 matches together as a tag team. How do you feel about that, JR?
To me, this screams, oh shit, I forgot to book the tag team champions in a match at our biggest show of the year, and I got to figure it out, and I only have like one show left to do it. Because I don't know. I mean, I don't know really. I mean, honestly, at this point, I would just do a 5-team ladder match because that makes more sense than what this is.
Yeah. I'm like, you have the Paragon, right? You have FTR. Like, those are kind of it's top flight, but they've already did their thing. But you have those 2 established tag teams. Either one or both of them make this a more interesting tag match than the tag match that's in there. Right now, I personally consider this a bathroom break match.
And I'm not going to say it like, because it's not that bad, but you are getting, to me, you're about to cross boundaries dangerously close to being almost as bad as tag team wrestling of the other company based out of Stamford, Connecticut.
Yes. The difference...
Because you have, and the hard thing is you have teams, and this was a company that prided themselves on tag team wrestling when you you think about all the teams we had in the first 2 years, but it just seems like over like a number of months, it's like, okay, we have these belts, this is our team, but in a similar way we saw like years ago with like the Usos or the New Day, it's just like they're just holding the belt, but nothing's happening to advance, to create, to really bring this prestige to the tag team division back that once was there.
Yeah, and what tag team are you building? What tag team have you been building over the months to have this spot with the Hurt Syndicate? Which I am perfectly fine with the Hurt Syndicate. They are a dominant powerhouse tag team. They have what can only be described as like a Road Warriors-esque push. They're just beating everybody, right? But the whole thing, what you're doing when you're doing that, and you're giving someone the quote-unquote Road Warrior push, I'm just using this as the example because this is what most people understand. I know this is not the Road Warrior push. But you're supposed to be building up a team to eventually beat the Road Warriors. And you should have been building up this team for months. Like Jet Speed should have been tagging up in February. They should be like 10-0. And they should be coming into this match. And they should, oh yeah, they're getting beat up. But no one's been able to actually beat them. And then you build to this match. Or with Christian and Nick Cage, you start 5 weeks ago, Christian's beating teams, and that leads to his title shot. It's just like none of that happened, so the anticipation or excitement for this match is absolute zero. Now, again, there are Speedball fans out there, there are Kevin Knight fans out there, Jet Speed, one amazing name. They're probably fans of people like, oh, I'm excited to watch them wrestle, but you don't care if they win. Christian and Nick Wayne. Yeah, cool. Like Nick Wayne. Fucking love Christian. Don't care if they win. And it's like wrestling is, you have to care who wins. No one cares who wins this match. People are just going to shoulder shrug no matter what. Because you've built no emotion into the tag team division. Am I wrong?
No, I'm with you 100.
Yeah, like as a person that is very passionate about tag team wrestling, I know I'm going to care about tag team wrestling more than other people. And this is not just because of FTR. I am on record. If FTR never wins the AEW tag team titles again, I am perfectly fine with their legacy. Their legacy is written in my mind. What we're looking for is in these few years that we have until FTR steps away from wrestling, building the next FTR, building the next Young Bucks, building the next Paragon, building the next teams. And I just don't see who they are right now. And that frightens me. Claudio Castagnoli cuts an intense promo, says he wants his the trios titles back. All In. It looks like it's going to be Claudio, Yuta, and someone versus the Ops. There you go. All right, Mystico Hologram and Mark Briscoe versus RPG Vice and Hechicero. Conclusion came dramatically when Mystico delivered a swift tilt-a-whirl transition into his signature move, La Mystica. Did you notice that Mystico and MJF have the same finisher?
No.
Now that you think about it.
Now you say yes, because how it ended.
Yeah. Romero immediately tapped, unable to withstand the painful submission. Celebrating the triumphant victory, Mystico, Hologram, and Briscoe stood together atop the turnbuckles. How the celebration was cut short, they appeared on the video. MJF sarcastically applauded their victory, sneering dismissively. Wow, Ontario, did you see that win? So exciting. So fantastic. Addressing Briscoe, said he'd consider a one-on-one conversation, even though he typically rolls with his clique. Concluded the warning by mocking the fan favorites. Now you two can go back to doing whatever poor people do. Count food steps or something. We'll see you next Saturday. MVP, standing confidently beside MJF, amplified the threat, directly addressing Briscoe and Mystico with sharp disdain. Mark, I appreciate your enthusiasm. I really do, but you're way out of your league. And Mystico, from there, MVP had some choice words for the legend in Spanish, to which MJF replied, I don't always say it, but when you're in the syndicate, it's not personal, it's just business. Now I will tell you, I am 100% MJF can absolutely stand on his own on the mic, right? Everyone knows that. He does not need a manager. He seems so much more bigger as a star with MVP in his corner. Like if the Hurt Syndicate break up, which I hope, what they do, it's wrestling, factions break up. I want MVP to stay with MJF. What do you think about it?
Yeah, just because you're a great talker doesn't mean you can't have a manager. I mean, there's been plenty of situations. I mean, I think one of the people who was most underrated on the mic was Rick Rude, and he had Bobby Heenan for a significant part of his career. And before that, he had, before he was Paul Bear, William Moody, I think was his name, or Bill Moody. And then, I think of Kurt Hennig is another guy. He had...
If you want to go,
three managers in WWE.
If you want to go old school, Nick Bockwinkel and Bobby Heenan, where Nick Bockwinkel cut his own amazing promos, and then Bobby Heenan was great too. So I like MJF and MVP. I didn't think I would like MJF with a manager because he's MJF, but I kind of dig it with MVP. And it would make sense if he ended up picking MJF because he's so much younger than the other two, and it's like, dude, I'm trying to eat for the next 20 years, like, so all right. And then 5 minutes, who wants to go 5 with the best wrestler alive? 5-minute open challenge. Max Caster stepped in the ring. Oh my god, dude, you shouldn't compare these two because they're completely going to do different things. But when you looked at the Acclaimed, you was like, Anthony Bowens is the Shawn Michaels. Max Caster is the Marty Jannetty. Would you have said that, sir, or no?
Because
Bowens was always the better wrestler.
But I honestly don't know because I never saw them. I guess I never saw with the Rockers either, but I never saw them being separated. So to see them, either of them, to obviously hindsight's 2020 because we didn't know that with Shawn Michaels back in that time either. I just never saw them though, like being this, a single star. I always thought they would be a tag team forever because of their gimmick.
Yeah, he did the "Let's Go Max, you're the best wrestler alive," dude. Wrestling fans love to chant. You can't make a chant and expect people to boo you. It's impossible. Then he says, "This crowd sucks," and we chant, "This crowd sucks," and he's like, "Y'all don't really get it." I'm like, no, people like to chant. You're never gonna make somebody a heel with a good chant. And yes, they picked up the rhythm. He called.
But you remember though, after that one, in the audience when it stopped chanting, then Max was chanting "This city sucks," and then the crowd was chanting "This city sucks" with him.
Yeah, that's what I just said. Did you zone out?
I didn't hear you say that, but yes.
Did you zone out? It's okay. You tend to zone out when I talk. It's okay, buddy. All right. So then a video package shows up. And who's on the video package? Scorpio Sky. And they show him working out in the ring and punching, and then you see Christopher Daniels, and then you see Top Flight, then you see Leia Gray, and then his music hits, and then they all come out, and it's Scorpio Sky. And the first thing I thought, oh my God, this works. Because what I've learned in wrestling, if you want to be successful, you need a bald white manager. Paul Heyman, Don Callis, and now Christopher Daniels. Welcome to the fraternity of bald white managers. And not even to forget, Arn Anderson with Cody Rhodes. Because I know Arn Anderson had whispers of hair, but he was bald. So you see the formula. You got to have a bald white manager to make it, right?
Yes.
That's why
and I'm available too, by the way, if anyone needs a manager.
That's why America's Top Team didn't work. Dan Lambert had hair. That was the problem. I just figured it out. You need a bald white guy as your manager to make it. All right. It says Caster looks unfazed by the negative reaction. I was like, there was no negative reaction. He got cheered the whole time he was out there. Scorpio Sky comes back. Shockingly, he beats Max Caster in like 40 seconds, and he hits him with his TKO. I will say this. I would have hoped he came back with a better finisher. The reason I say that, I'm not hating because I'm clearly with positivity. Look at the company you're in, right? Look at, you got, Swerve's got the house call. He has the Swerve Stomp, right? He has the Plex. You got, Will Ospreay with the Styles Clash. You got him with the what's the arm thing called? The Hidden Blade, right? Then you got the Os Cutter, right? It's like, so both of those people have 6 moves better than your move. Not 1 move better than your move, 6 moves better than your move. Okay? All right. You got Mox with the double arm DDT, buckshot lariat, and yeah, I could go on. But he has a bottom 5 of the company finisher. It's like you came back, you got all this fanfare, you got all this. This is a perfect introduction to repackage your character, and you come with the same boring-ass finisher. Do you have the same thoughts on the finisher that I do? I know you might not. That's what I like. I like when you don't agree. But any thoughts on this?
You're talking about the TKO?
Yes.
I like it. I think it's always possible you can get more impact, but I remember the first time I saw it, I think it was like 98. I thought it was a cool finisher. I liked it.
The only thing, I just thought about something. You know what he could add? He could turn it and do like a helicopter spin and do like 3 turns and then hit the TKO. What do you think? That adds a little something to it. You get what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm always like, I'm going to take what you do, maybe tweak it just a little bit to make it better. I think that would make the move better. Just add a few spins and then hit the move. Ricochet with the Gates of Agony, they beat the shit out of... Who did they beat up? Blake Christian and Lee Johnson. Ricochet stared Christian down, his voice sharp. You see, boys, if you want Ricochet's respect, you're going to have to earn it, and that's not a request, that's a demand. So basically, they hurt people. All right, Willow wrestled Vipress. Vipress did this really funny thing where she put her hair up and strike, and it got really over with the crowd. I think Vipress is pretty popular in California. But then she take a pounds, period, and then the Babe with the powerbomb and pin. While doing that move, Willa Yuta and Chris Statlander watched on the monitor in their back, with Statlander not want much of anything to do with Yuta. So, yeah. So Statlander was watching. Willow beat Vipress, and it seems like we're building to something there. I don't know if we're getting another Willow and Chris match. I don't know what they're going to do. Anthony Bowens and Billy Gunn try to get on the same page. Basically, Billy Gunn's like, hey, take some egg. You got to break some eggs to make an omelet. And basically, you've been a single star for like 12 seconds. Did you think it was going to be easy? And he told him to get his ass up, and you got to trust me. And Bowens remained silent, clearly weighing on Gunn's words. Again, sorry, Bowens. Billy Gunn has too much hair. Billy Gunn has too much hair. Right? We've come to that conclusion, right? Too much hair, right? You got to be bald. If Billy Gunn really wants you to be successful, Anthony Bowens, he will shave his head. Period.
It would look very weird if that did happen.
If he wants him to be successful, he will shave his head. All right. So, the main event. Well, Floyd and JR's main event of Collision. FTR versus the Outrunners. OMG. Now, the way I said this, I'm watching this match. This Outrunners, FTR, perfect, feel like straight out of 80s tag team match, right? Up and including the flying head scissors from Turbo Floyd, which we both popped for that, because when the last time you fucking saw that, sir? The flying head scissors. So, this is by far the Outrunners' best match in AEW. Do you agree, JR?
No, it's not even close.
Not even close. Like, I thought the Outrunners was the gimmick. They were fun. They were all that. Them motherfuckers can go. And them and FTR would seem like they were made for each other. Yeah. So, it's like, I don't want to go move for move, but there was just so much good stuff in here, including, of course, Outrunners getting into better FTR at the beginning of the match, and then FTR getting into the heat segment where they're working. I think within the first 5 minutes, they had Truth Magnum busted open, right? And there was this spot or this part of the match where it was, it was either Truth or Turbo. They rolled up FTR and the ref was distracted and they got the clear 3 or whatever. Oh my God. From that moment, the crowd was into everything. Like, I wouldn't say on their feet, but they reacted to everything. Every false finish, every move, from when the Outrunners hit the Shatter Machine. They thought it was over. There was a couple more roll-up attempts. They even had me. The Shatter Machine got me. I was like, fuck, they're going to lose their move. And I was like just really into it. Tony Schiavone painted a vivid picture of the Outrunner struggle. Turbo and Floyd fighting courageously, but how long can he realistically last with a clearly injured leg? What happened in the match is Cash picked up Turbo Floyd by the knee and landed him on the steps with it. So he was selling the knee after that. Floyd made a desperate dive, managing to tag his partner Truth Magnum. To a roaring approval from the crowd, Magnum burst into the ring, furious whirlwind of offense, delivering sharp clothesline, rapid drop kicks, and a smash into the corner that momentarily swung in favor in front of the Outrunners. Although Wheeler was able to break up the attempt at the double bionic elbow drop. You son of a bitch! Harwood continued to brutalize. FTR regrouped outside the ring. When they came back from the commercial break, Truth Magnum was bloodied and being beaten in the corner. FTR once again went to work with their tried and true tag team tactics, grinding Magnum into the mat. Magnum clearly made the tag to Floyd, only for Wheeler to yank Turbo off the apron at the last minute. Harwood continued to brutalize the bloody Magnum as FTR hit a double team flatliner. The crowd erupted as Magnum rallied, bloody, visibly streaming from the laceration on his forehead, fending off Wheeler on the top ropes, then hitting the crossbody, only for nobody there when he made the tag as Floyd was incapacitated with the injured knee. That was another big spot. All right, so now we're going to finish with Floyd, which is not me, Turbo Floyd incapacitated by severe knee damage, and Magnum severely weakened after a vertical suplex by Harwood to the outside. FTR smelled blood in the water, seizing the opportunity. Harwood and Wheeler set up a devastating Shatter Machine finisher. Harwood propelled Floyd into the air as Wheeler delivered the finishing blow, decisively planting Turbo Floyd into the canvas. Wheeler quickly covered for the 3 count, while Big Stoke held Magnum from breaking up the tag. After the victory, FTR triumphant yet visibly drained. Banger. I watched this match, posted on, very rarely tweet while I'm at the show. I was like, banger incoming. That match was a banger. Everybody should watch FTR versus Outrunners. Me and JR looking at each other. We're basically like hugging and shit because this match was fucking awesome. We both like old school wrestling. This match went right in the 80s. This match main evented an episode of Jim Crockett 605. This was an amazing match. Shout out to the Outrunners. Shout out to FTR. JR, what did you think? So JR is busy. I don't know what he's doing. Maybe he fell asleep. I don't know.
No, I'm here. I'm sorry. For those of you guys, when there's long pauses, it's because either my dog is barking. We got a lot, it's a busy week. We got All In. We got work tomorrow. So, try to get the day together. So a lot of noises. That's why I keep, put this on mute. But I was going to say what I was saying, talking to myself before I took the mute off, that this is my type of wrestling. Nostalgic 80s type wrestling. And just because it's old doesn't mean it's bad. There's a lot of elements that you can put that can make it entertaining even for today's audience for the standards they have. And it's how you tell the story throughout the show. Like when you look at what they did, and I always get Floyd and Magnum's, which one mixed up, but when they took out one of the Outrunners outside and they threw him into the steps and you're wearing him down, you're tearing up his knee, you busted him open, that is you're creating an underdog story that this team is injured and they're trying to fight their way back up against these dastardly heels. You don't have to do a lot of, high spots or high impact, high risk stuff. That's the story you're telling, and it creates sympathy for the good guys, and the bad guys is creating animosity and hatred. And I think everything they did and what they told that story and the moves they did was great. I mean, when I saw the flying head scissors, I was like, I think I leaned over. I was like, this is reminiscent of like Rockers or the high, from WWF or high flyers from AWA. Like this stuff they would do in matches against like Patterson and like with the high flyers against Patterson and Ray Stevens in the AWA.
Absolutely.
So I loved it,
dude. And then, like I said, best Outrunners match. And again, I'm not going to go on a long FTR spiel, but think about your favorite tag teams. It is more than likely their best match was with FTR or / the Revival. Just think about that. Think about the long list of their best matches are with FTR. Now, I got to tell you, you know what the ultimate thing is? When you watch your favorite tag team have a banger, and then maybe an hour after they have the banger, you get to sit down and talk to them about the banger. We will get to that in a minute, but yeah, I was pretty much in heaven. We had Athena, Megan Bain, Thekla, and Julia Hart against Tay Mello, Anna Jay, Thunder Rosa, and Queen Aminata. Megan Bain comes out with Penelope Ford, and Julia Hart comes out with Sky Blue. So we didn't know, like, at the time, it's like, how many people are in this fucking match? So, yeah, because, like, the heels had, like, 6 people with them, and the faces had 4. Somewhere in the match, Athena chases off Thunder Rosa to the back, and then during that, Bain hoisted up Jay over her shoulders with ease, delivering a devastating running powerbomb, slamming Jay emphatically into the canvas. Bain confidently covered Jay, hooking the leg decisively for the win. I thought this match was good. I don't have a lot of complicated or any thoughts on it. You, sir?
It was an all-star match.
Yeah, I got to say this, and I will tell anybody this. It was getting towards the end of the night. And I love AEW's tapings. I love them. I'm not complaining. But when I get a Dynamite in the Collision, as excited as I am by both, by the time we get to that end of the Collision, I start running out of gas. I mean, I want to pay attention. I want to be in it, but I'm just kind of tired. It's just a lot of wrestling. Do you agree with that, JR?
I think it also doesn't help when you have travel days.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
Yeah,
I was up. So I mean, this is California time, so I live on California time. But at this point of the night, we're past 8:00. I've been up since 4 a.m. Went to the gym, had to go to work before I even caught the bus to come to Ontario. So when you have that, those type of days, and you're going in, like eventually something's gonna give out.
Yeah, I was basically on 4 hours of sleep, so I would have loved to give this match the super attention that it deserved, but it didn't get it. Same thing about Kyle Fletcher and Daniel Garcia. I watched this match this morning, not last night. I watched it this morning. It was an absolute banger. I absolutely enjoyed it. The night of, dude, I remember the finish. Speaking of that, we're going to go to the finish. As the match nears climax, Cole tried to encourage his girlfriend, Daniel Garcia, and I don't mean that in any kind of disparaging way other than Daniel Garcia is, Cole's bitch. To get back into the ring, which Garcia finally did for the 10 count, only for Fletcher to kick Garcia in the face one last time in the ring. Fletcher immediately followed up with a devastating brainbuster, and he beat Garcia, continuing the fact that everybody beats Daniel Garcia. As Fletcher celebrated, Adam Cole stood up from the commentary desk, looking eyes intensely with Fletcher, who pointed at Cole's TNT championship. So there you go. Adam Cole, baby, versus Kyle Fletcher, announced from the All In. This match was good. I thought it was a really good match, but at the end of a long night, I did not pay attention to it at the show, but when I watched it back, I thought it was good. I don't think JR has watched it back yet, but do you have any thoughts from what you watched at the show?
You know what? I like what they did position Kyle Fletcher throughout this whole show. Is they try to, turn up the elements of his, him being an evil heel, being sadistic, some of the, spots they were doing on the outside. That's what I remember. And that's what I, like seeing going into his title match against Adam Cole coming up this Saturday.
I think it's one of those matches that could potentially steal the show. Starrcast updates. Go to Starrcast on Twitter. I'm not gonna go through it all because actually we're running kind of long. We're
We're running heavy.
Yeah, so I'm gonna just kind of speed through some of the stuff. Starrcast updates. You go to starrcast.com on Twitter. I think they're done with the big names. They had a special photo op that they announced for Platinum people. Ended up being Jim Ross. But like today, they've added Satnam Singh, and I forgot who the other person was. Billy Starks. So let me tell you, out of all the conventions we've been to, wrestling conventions we've been to, I cannot remember ever a wrestling convention with this many price included signings. Can you?
The only time that I can think of is pre-COVID WrestleMania access for photo ops. Some they were doing in New York. I knocked out like 8 in one day. In that, but that's the only time that's ever happened to me.
Yeah, if you've ever been to a Starrcast, they don't do this. Even the lowest of the low wrestler was like $10. They have 12 people on Friday free. They have 2 people on Saturday free. They announced Satnam Singh and Billy Starks. They're both free.
I think I got a total of 18 now after those 2.
Yeah, so you got 18 people that you can just meet for the $47 weekend pass. $47 is Friday and Saturday. You can basically stand in line, get a photo, and one thing autographed. And if you want an extra thing autographed, it only costs $25. So I mean, not even talking about the stuff you can buy. That is a value. Just think if you're in Texas area, you don't got a lot of money, you get $50, you can meet a lot of people. You're not going to meet everybody because people love free, but you can meet a lot of people for your $47. So I think that's a good value. I will definitely put Starrcast over forever. I will put Conrad over forever. You can feel however you feel about the shows that he puts on or whatever. But I personally believe having Conrad involved in professional wrestling, whether it's Starrcast or podcast or whatever, is a net positive. Anything you might not like.
Can I tell you why?
Why?
Because in my opinion, Conrad Thompson versus anyone else that does anything in wrestling, there's one significant difference that he has versus everyone else. And that is at his core, he is a wrestling fan. And he's putting on things that he feels wrestling fans want to see and do. And that you cannot take away, because that, to me, is his, priority over, necessarily making money. I'm not saying he's making money.
I'm not even saying he already has money. That's the whole thing. He does this because he wants to. He has money. He makes his money from the mortgage thing.
So that's something completely different from, when AEW does their fan fest, WWE doing, their Superstore or Access or World, whatever it's called nowadays, and, anyone else that puts on conventions.
So, yeah. So, this is one of the things I want to talk about. AEW is doing a free pre-show, free tailgate, Texas tailgate, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. at Texas Live. And then they're doing an after party, which immediately following the show. And I think the after party just goes until you feel like going home. Texas Live stays open pretty late. So the after party is to when you want to go home, you can see your favorite AEW stars. So yet another chance to meet AEW people. I think that'll be free and win cool prizes. You won't see me at the tailgate because I'll be already in the arena, but you could possibly see any of the other people in Social Suplex. So make sure you say hi. After the show, I'm trying to get together for a big picture. I'm going to post it on the All Things Elite page where it's going to be at if you want to meet anybody from the Social Suplex page. But yes, I just think the amount of included free stuff that you can do with AEW, what is the equivalent of the WrestleMania weekend is you can't match it anywhere. So much free stuff. And I want to give a big thought process to freaking WrestleCon. WrestleCon, you follow WrestleMania every year, and they change cities. They change this. They change that. AEW announces their date in December or January, and they keep it. So, hey, next year in London, how about WrestleCon? Just throwing it out there. I think the London people deserve it. You know what I mean? Just throwing it out there. Do with it what you may. But yes, that is all the information I plan to cover on the show. On the additional news, I want to happy 25 years in wrestling to Lance Archer. He posted that on his X account. Shout out to him. Have I missed any news from this week, sir? I think I covered everything.
Not that I'm aware of.
All right. Okay. I do want to have this personal thing about Britt Baker. So Britt Baker early this week posted a thing, and it was about water. And it's like, water can be valued this here, value this here, value this here. And, everybody went off on this. I told JR as soon as I saw the post, she puts up those messages all day, every day. Didn't I tell you that, JR?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So she has a favorite author named Mel. Mel posts quotes all day. Britt reposts those quotes all day. So whatever's on Mel mind, Britt reposts. That's what she does all day. Repeat to you. I'm like, I think she's doing it less now, but sometimes it'd be as many as 15, 20 quotes a day. That's what she would do, right? All generally having to do with self-worth and how people treat you and blah, blah, blah. Somehow, some nerd took this water one and decided that meant she was leaving AEW. Then someone else said, oh, it's confirmed she's leaving AEW. Okay. And this is me in the middle of the week like, oh, she might leave AEW. I'm not saying she's not. It's not going to be because of this post, because she's been doing this the whole time she's been off work. Every day, all day. I work overnights on Instagram. I click the videos and they play from one reel to another. And Brits is just quote, 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 quote. So I don't understand how out of the 6,000 quotes she's posted this year, someone has decided that one quote was the one that meant she was leaving. Doesn't make any sense. So, yeah, I wanted to give you that insight from me because I knew it was shit immediately, and then we find out later there was no truth to the rumor that she's leaving. I can't wait for her to come back. If she comes back, I don't know if she's coming back, but I can't wait for her to come back when she does. I'm a big Britt Baker fan. She was my favorite wrestler in AEW. I really haven't, other than like Willow, I haven't really replaced her since she was gone because I feel like, that part of me is, my Britt part of me is missing. I just want to go DMD, and I just want to do it, and I want to get pumped up, and I want her back. So whether she comes back or not, it is what it is. But believe me, it's not because of the quotes she posts on Twitter. Or Instagram. Those are just quotes. I think we talked 5-10 minutes after it blew up, and I told you that doesn't mean anything. And it was just like, it doesn't mean anything, because if you actually pay attention to her, you already know. All right, that's it. JR, do you have any lasting thoughts before we get out of here?
Speaking of water, everybody wherever you're at, number one, be safe. For some reason, these summers seem like they're getting worse. For those of you who are not aware, there was a big flood that happened in Central Texas. Our thoughts and prayers are with the victims and their families of that natural disaster tragedy. But everybody be safe out there, because between the elements, it feels like it's a harsh summer. For me, I live in Central California, and it's always hot. Like during the summer, it's hot. To me, it's hot May through essentially the end of October where I'm at. But this summer, it hasn't even really hit its peak of like 100-degree days, but it just feels intensely hotter. So make sure you stay hydrated. Make sure you're taking care of your body, your skin, and protect yourself, protect your loved ones, protect your fur babies. And if you're going to All In and you see us, please say hi. I look forward to seeing as many people as I can. I'll be there with my wife. My big brother Floyd will be there with his wife. So we're going to have a great time in Texas. 4 days of wrestling. I can't wait.
Dude, I literally. So we are exactly, 1 hour 15, 13 hours and 15 minutes from college football, the laying on PS5. Other than that, this has all been about All In. All In. This has been my thing since the moment they announced it was saying in Dallas. I remember saying, hey, All In, I'm going to be in the first row. And everybody's like, how can you guarantee that? I didn't know how I could guarantee that. Sometimes when I'm on the show, I just say shit. Like I'm going to be there. And then somehow it happens. So I said I was going to be first row at All In. Fuck, it happened. Then they redid the map, and I'm like first row dead center going to be on TV all night. Fuck, I didn't plan that. It just happened. So my life is very fortunate when it comes to that. So I thank you. So I will end with a story from the night. So we're done with the show. If you want to get out of here now, I am about to talk about what happened. Fortunate thing that happened to me after the event, but I didn't want to hold you. So because we're like right at an hour and a half. So if you want to bounce. But I'm about to tell my story. All right. So it's amazing in this world how many things have to go a certain way for a certain experience to happen. So JR talked me into going, well, not talked me into, reaffirmed that I'd rather be at AEW Dynamite and Collision 100, 300, and 100 instead of going to Oregon. So I switched my flights and stuff. At that time, JR didn't know. Remember, you didn't know if you could go. So I didn't even get a hotel. I was like, all right, this is the week before All In. I can't spend any money. So I just used the flight credit from Portland to do to Ontario, right? And I was like, I'm going to fly in and I'm going to fly out 11:59 from California, take the red eye back home. I only knew I could do this because over the years, the few conversations I had with Dax and Cash, they always say, we get straight out. They go in. The reason they weren't at Brawl Out is because after their match, they were on the red eye flight home. So I was like, man, I can do this. I can pull this off. So I set that up. So that's step one. Step two, JR said he was coming. Well, JR's bus didn't leave until the morning, right? So we had to get a hotel. So I just used some credit that I had through my hotel to get us a free hotel, right? And I was like, JR, you don't mind if I still go home overnight because I don't really want to pay the extra to fly out the next day. Of course, JR being one of the best friends I've had in this world said, no, why would you spend more money to sleep for like 3 hours and then have to go to the airport? JR's the real MVP. So, okay, so I'm going. So we get back from the show. I pack all my stuff up quickly, give JR a hug, Uber straight to Ontario, straight to the airport. Basically no one in security, right? So walking through, there's not a lot of people in security. Again, this is like 10 o'clock at night. Like 10:15, yeah. So I'm going through security, and I see a hairdo that I'm used to seeing, and it was Hair himself, FTR himself. Cash, I was like, Cash. And he kind of double took. And he's like, hey, you go to everything, don't you? So we said hi, kind of gave a quick hug or whatever, because we're in security line. We can't do this. I know he has a flight to catch. I know he's on the red eye. So as far as I'm concerned, he's like, oh, you're going to be in it? Yeah. I was like, yeah, I'll let you know when I'm in Texas. We kind of go our separate ways because he's in the clear line. So he's going through really quick. I'm in the DA line. I'm taking my time. Again, he goes through. I don't even look for him anymore. I know I'm going to see him next week. So there's no reason, to try to continue the communication. I get out, I go left, and it's like, go to gate 4008. I was like, okay, go to the gate. Dude, JR, I've told you the story. You've heard it before. You've probably heard the exact words. When I say this gate was packed, I mean, I'm looking around, and I was like, good Lord, dude, does this many people want to go from Ontario to Dallas on a red-eye flight? And I'm just like, this is crazy. So I'm looking for a seat. I go through the first one. I don't see any seat. I go through again, and I see 2 seats open. 2 seats. And I'm like, yes, I'm going to sit over there. So I head to right, and who do I see? Oh, it's a bald head that I recognize. And it is Dax Harwood. And, of course, I sit there because those are the only real 2 seats. I say, oh, I'm sorry. Didn't mean to bother you, interrupt you. He laughed. He's like, oh, my God, it is you. Like, they weren't expecting to see me. So then Cash comes around the corner, and he comes and sits down right next to me. And a lot of what we talk about, I'm not really going to repeat because it was my time with them. I'm just going to kind of, like, other than, for most part, I'm just going to keep it to myself. But I've sat down there with my favorite tag team in the world, and I know I have diarrhea in the mouth. I doubt they'll ever listen to the show, but I have diarrhea in the mouth because I am an excitable person. When I get in excited moments, words. I talk already. But if you get me excited like that, words. So I know, but I did stay patient enough and I listened. And they talked about the match with the Outrunners and they asked for my input and I told them where they had them. And they were like, oh, I remember that and I remember that. And it was just such cool because they just put on an amazing match. And this wasn't me inflating the match. I was actually being able to say, man, this match was amazing. And I was like, man, it took me back to when I was 6 years old watching wrestling on TBS. It was amazing. Dax says what he says. Again, I'm pretty much keeping a lot of this to myself. And we talked about it. He talked about how the match got put together and all that stuff. And I was just like, dude, sitting under the, like, I'm not even going to ever get into wrestling, but I felt like I was sitting under the storytelling learning tree, listening to him and Cash and the passion. And dude, they love this shit. Dax has his case. He brings it out. We have shots of tequila. Cash is like, we got to get a picture. And Cash takes the picture. And to prove that I'm not the one that asked for the picture, even though it's not needed, look at the picture that they posted. My phone's in my hand. I didn't ask for the picture. They wanted to take the picture, which was amazing because I wasn't going to ask them for shit. Floyd was happy to be there. Floyd was 7-year-old Floyd listening to like Bret Hart or whatever. So I was in fucking heaven. I wasn't asking them for anything. Anything I got from them, they offered. Then he gave me a melatonin so I could sleep on the flight because I was telling them this is my first red eye ever. And I only did it because, kind of saw them doing it and I was like, whatever. So we talk, we chat, we have a good time. Then my flight had to leave. And dude, I have never been more disappointed that a flight didn't come late. My flight was perfectly on time. I left before them. So when you talk about the things that had to happen for this to happen, the reason it was packed is because their flight was delayed and it got pushed back. So that was basically 2 or 3 flights all sitting in the same area. Otherwise, they would have been gone before I even got there. So I had this time with Dax and Cash. They are great guys. But there was one thing and we'll be pretty much done because I'm not going to hold you forever, is what I learned this as a wrestling fan, and I always say this, as old as you get, you have to stay open to learning. I'm sitting there watching them, and what I saw was the cost of a banger. Cash couldn't turn he had to turn his full body because his neck, he couldn't just turn his neck. Dax is getting up and down like slowly, right? And all I could think is like, when wrestlers do that whole thing where they say, we put our bodies on the line for you, man, I saw it. I saw it. I saw these people I cared about in physical pain, and realizing this was the harsh reality is this is pretty much every time they wrestle. This is not like, oh, this was a particularly hard match. When people put on what you would consider a bad match, they're still hurting. So for the next time you call a match a dud or whatever, think about that. There is a physical toll to every time they do with wrestling. I'm not trying to make the world a better place in this statement or whatever. There is a physical toll to what they do. So before you bury something or whatever, kind of think about that. I'm not saying you can't critique it. I'm talking about when you just like, oh, that match was trash. When you just go really, really hard into it, kind of think about it. There is a physical toll for every wrestler in that match. And again, as much as I know wrestling hurts, as much as I have been around it and seen people in their old age not moving around, until I saw these two people pretty much in their primes, athleticism wise, and seeing them move like they're old until a point, it was like, oh fuck, this shit hurts. And I'm, kind of went to like, glad I've never did it. And I did definitely want to shout out and they did make me feel really, 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 really special, because I told them I was 44 years old and they were like, fuck, you don't age. And I was like, yeah, that made me feel pretty good. I was feeling myself in that moment. Where he's like, oh, they got your head big. Absolutely, they did. My head was extremely large. I was Denzel Washington in that moment. I was fine as fuck for that 10 minutes where they were blowing me up. So, no, shout out to them. And it was kind of cool because no one came up to Dax and Cash the whole time we were sitting there together. Kota Ibushi and Kenny Omega come around the corner from what I assume was the bathroom, because that's the area that was in. Nobody bothered them. Athena was in the first row of my flight. Nobody bothered her. Man, I feel like that's how it should be. So, yeah, that's all I have. JR, we've talked about this immensely over the last few weeks, and I even told you, like, I really wish you and Jackie could have been there with me. Y'all are my people. Y'all are my FTR people. It was a great moment. I was glad I had it, but I was like, God, I wish y'all were there with me. Any thoughts on anything I just said?
One of the things, I'm talking to the audience. If you don't know Floyd, you couldn't ask for a better human being to be your friend. I like to think I'm a good person, but I know Floyd is a good person. And, when he told me, man, he goes, I wish you're with me. And and for him to think about that when he had this once in a lifetime type moment, I think just kind of shows the character and the person that he is, that it's not about him. It's about others. And I know both me and Jackie told him, hogwash and all that. Like, this was your time. This was your moment. This is good karma treating you, because no matter how much that others may do for them, they don't think it's enough, or they think that they're owed something. No one owes anything in this world. And we do things out of the kindness in our heart. And Floyd has always put others ahead of himself. And I think, for him to have this type of chance, and for, Dax and Cash, two guys that have a lot of respect and a lot of love for as performers, but even just being around them the few times that I've had one of them was more of an intimate setting. They're great guys, and for them to show just love and support to Floyd for really just being a good person and being a great fan, also shows how much love and appreciation I have for them as human beings, because they didn't have to do that. They could say, oh man, we got to get to work. We'll talk to you later. And Floyd would have been cool. I'll talk to you guys later. Would have left. but they spend time with him, and that to me is an awesome thing, and I will always have love and respect for them for giving my boy that moment.
Oh, well, all right. Well, I thank you all for whoever decided to stay with us on that. I appreciate you. We appreciate the time that you listen to us. JR, any parting thoughts before we end this?
I gave my assent earlier. Just make sure you guys stay hydrated and be safe out there in the sun.
All right. So as we count down, everybody enjoy All In. They're doing a thing on Amazon Prime. If you order All In right now, you get a $10 video credit. So what that means is order All In, get a $10 Amazon Prime video credit, then use it at All Out to get $10 off. It's just that simple. It's that smart. Do that. Go ahead and get there at All In. Make sure you check it out. Me, JR, Social Suplex, we will be in the building. We will be loud. We will be tearing it up. And I am going to leave you how I always leave you. Whether it's home, work, or school, always do your best to be elite.